What's going on, my fellow Farmall brothers and sisters? Alright, today we are switching gears, so stay tuned, you're going to see what I'm talking about. And just a quick note, I've noticed that a lot of people who are coming on my channel aren't subscribers. Gotta hit that subscribe button. It helps me out quite a bit, helps keep pushing these videos through much better. So if you are watching this video, please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it definitely helps out the channel, so I'd appreciate it. So stay tuned, let's jump into this thing. There is a shifter rebuild kit. As it comes. So if you put a shifter rebuild kit in, guess what? You're still going to have all that play. Stay tuned, you're going to see how we're going to fix this. Alright, so I'm going to spin this camera around and kind of show you guys one of the issues that I'm sure everybody with these tractors has. And then what you can buy for them to fix them. The shifters. So the shifters themselves, as you know, the arm comes up and it bends around. 300 series, 350, 400, 450s, they all have that same style. They're super loose. They have all kinds of play in them. Well, you can buy the shift repair kit, the pin kit and the little barrel and the end caps, all that stuff. You can buy all that. Awesome. They're nice. Doesn't fix the problem though. There's something else you got to do to fix that problem. There's no videos out there anybody showing how to fix that problem. Until now. Let me spin this around. I'm going to try and show you what we're talking about here. So everybody on these tractors knows that the shifter, see, this one isn't as bad as the other 450, and it's not as bad as that 300 I have sitting in there, but it's still, she got some slop to her. All right, so inside here, well, you know what, we're going to go inside. Let me go inside and I'll show you exactly what the issue is, and I'll show you exactly how I'm fixing it. So let's head on in. I'm going to come back out here in a little bit, and we're going to give this thing a tune-up. I ordered all the gaskets for this, for the gear pump, for the actual pump itself. So I have all the gaskets coming for it, and I'll tell you, they were not cheap. These gaskets for this unit alone, the injection pump, was $240. The gaskets for the gear pump right there, oh my god, that was $140. That's a lot of money in gaskets. But unfortunately, I need it for this thing. I got a seal here out of the arm that's actually leaking. The governor arm, whatever you want to call it. I have the seal on the bottom that's leaking. The gear pump itself I know is leaking because it's putting diesel into the oil. The guy told me that when I got it. So I know that's got to be changed out with the new upgraded style seal that I have. I mean, I have leaks. I mean, the banjo fittings, you know, they're leaking. I don't know if it comes with those or not, but I'll probably have to locate those. Oh my god, this thing's got leaks everywhere. I mean, you can see it. That's why I have a tarp down the driveway. You can see after I run it how much leaks out. It's quite a bit. So I got to get that solved quickly and get it over with. Obviously, I'm going to go up in here, all the you know, for the final filter and the auxiliary filter. I'm going to clean all this stuff out as well and just check all the fittings. And yeah, it's time to seal this girl up and get all these leaks out of here. But anyway, that's not what we're doing right now. That's not what we're doing today. Well, I may be doing it in a little while. I'll film it, but you're not going to see it right now. Anyway, let's head on inside. Alright, so let's go over here. Don't laugh at my fix. I had to do this the other day to get this thing to pull out of here. I had no choice. I had to do something quickly because I wanted to pull it out and get it out of gear. Let's just say the shifter housing on the 450 gasser was so bad. Yeah, let's just say that pin actually came out and it went up and the shifter locked. I couldn't get it to move. So I had to do this. Again, I only did this for now. Alright. Yeah, see, I had to do this. I had to put some washers in there to hold the pin in place because I didn't want to put in the new, I guess what you would call them, like basically not bushings, but the end caps where you got to drive them in, hit them, dimple them, and that puts them in place. I didn't want to do that yet. But this is the issue. See how sloppy all these are? See all that slop? there's multiple things that cause this slop. So I'm going to take this over to show you on the bench the ones that I have and what you can do to fix this, because this has the new pin, this has that new trunnion inside there right now. See how much play is still in there? See? Alright, so let's go show you what we're going to do to fix this. Okay, so here's one of the extra housings that I have sandblasted and ready. This hole right here. Now you can actually really see from this side here. Well, I'm looking through the phone. No, it was this one. Alright, see how that hole is like egg-shaped? Alright, so your problem is, when you take your little trunnion, and, oh shit, I gotta get the pin out of here. Let me see if I can, yeah, I can pull it out. Okay, so what happens is, this goes into the shifter. I gotta set this up on a stand. I can't do this with one hand, I don't think. Alright, let me try. Alright, let me push it in. Hang on a second, work with me here. Okay. This is how it's going to go into the shifting arm. Alright, so this right here goes into here. Alright, so this has a little bit of play to it. Common. I have a way I'm probably going to fix that. That's fine. I got this. But this here is the serious issue. Look in here. That pin, man, you really can't see this, can you? See that pin right there? Oh my god, you can't see it there either. Let me grab a flashlight. Hang on. Alright, 5th time's the charm. Now, you can see inside there. See that hole? See how loose that fits inside there? So that right there, let's do it this way. There you go. See how much that's moving around? That is a lot of play. See, that's all over the place. So if you factor in your wobble here, now this is fixed because the fact that these two parts fit together nice, they're machined. But then where this trunnion goes into the shifter, you have some wobble. Put all that together, you have a sloppy shifter again. I don't care if you buy this pin kit or not. It's not going to fix your situation. Either way, this is going to be a sloppy shifter. Because take out the original. See how bad they usually get? And here's one of the trunnions. Alright. Look how much play is in there. Look at all that slop inside there. I mean, that right there is, that's awful. So the pin kit fixes that part. This is really difficult to do with one hand. I should have thought ahead and put this on the stand. Alright, I'm going to pop this out of here. Okay, so the new pin kit. See how nice these go together? See? All the slop and play is out of that. That's beautiful. That, not so beautiful. That, not beautiful. This is the issue you're going to have. So you're going to go ahead and spend the money, and you're going to buy this $40, $50 kit, you know, with all the parts, the caps, you know, all that stuff. You're going to put it all in here, and guess what? Your shifter's still going to be all over the place. And you're going to be like, well, damn, that was like money wasted. So I came up with an idea. Now, this isn't finished yet. I just put these in to try this. I'm going to have to get the drill bit sizes and everything to tell you. Bushings. Brass bushings. I'm going to have to sand these down, and we're going to do the video of taking these and, you know, clean all this out right here. So that way they're flush. But what I ordered... Alright, so there's your shift lever repair kit. Alright, so that's that kit right there. And then what I ordered was these. See if you can see that. Sleeve bearing bushings. Alright, 10 millimeter. That's your part number right there. This came off of Amazon. So if you use this part number right here, you'll find these. Alright, these are the 10 millimeter by, you know what, I'll screenshot it and I'll put it up right now. Okay, so that's what I ordered off of Amazon. Alright, so that's these bushings right here. And I'm really going to try to do this again with one hand. Let me open this up. Okay, so here's your bushing right here. Now this is the closest that I could find to the size that I need it. See how close that is to the hole size? So that's pretty damn close. So this right here, you need a 14 millimeter. I got the high-speed drill bit. All right. You're going to center this up, and you're going to drill this through, and you're going to drill that one through. Boom, boom. There's your drill hole. Now you can put these in. I'll put red Loctite because the 14 millimeter, this is 14 millimeter. I didn't want to have to drive it in hard because I didn't want to risk this thing splitting or breaking. All right. So I'll put red Loctite around here. And I mean, I lathered it really good, put it inside the hole after it was drilled really good. Now, I was real careful with the pass because I wanted to go in there enough to make the hole, but not enough to like clean out, like say, a lot of the burrs, a lot of the whatever. Just enough to make a nice clean drill. Push these in till you see it like that right there. See? Well, you can't really see because it's kind of dirty. I have to clean it. But anyway, it's flush to the inside. So I took it all the way into that seat right there. All right? So she's flush. So that way I can put those caps on, close this up. Now, I didn't finish running the bit through here, both sides yet, to true this up. This right here is 7/16. So this is a 7/16 bit right here. I ran the 7/16 bit after these bushings were in, after they sat for a day with the red Loctite to lock these in place. I oiled these up really good and ran the 7/16 bit through the bushings, so that way they were both lined up. I started with this side. I didn't get over to the other side yet, so I'm still working on it. This is work in progress here. We will continue this, but as you see, now that will go from side to side. I can press this in the rest of the way, all the way through, and look at that. I'm pulling on it. Can you see my hand moving? It's not moving. It's nice. It's solid. It's good. This trunnion will now sit in there like it's supposed to with the shifter. I'm sorry, it'll shit that way with the shifter. Now guess what? That shifting rod isn't going to move up and down. The trunnion isn't going to move up and down. All that's now going to be solid. The only play that we're going to end up having in here is just where this goes in here. And we still have a little wobble in there. I may fix this. I may not. I kind of want to see what it's like without fixing it. But for my tractors, since I have the welder and I have everything I need, I may go ahead and build this up a little bit of weld and then clean this back out, tighten this up just a hair more. And then obviously my forks are pretty good, but it's just a little bit of wear on this top edge. So I may go ahead and just do a little weld right here on that, grind this back down, and then clean this up. So that way I know if, there we go. See that little taper we got going on right there? I want to get rid of that little taper right there. This is the only one actually that has a taper. My other two forks actually are pretty nice. They're pretty square still. But anyway, once we take care of this, and then like I said, I grind off and clean off the bushing on the inside, so that way we're flush. Everything's the way it's supposed to be. By the time this is pressed in, this is locked in, that shifter's in there, this will be like night and day difference as far as how much better here. You know what? Let me go ahead and sit the trunnion on here and push this in. I can't do it with one hand. And then I'll show you the difference once it's all set in place. Okay, so I got it in. Much easier when I can use two hands. But you can see when I grab this, look, if I get my finger on there, look. Again, pulling, no slop, no play whatsoever. Look how nice that it actually works in there. So now when you move that shifter around, it's actually going to work the way it's supposed to work. This may clear these. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. But if it doesn't, again, all I got to do is go in there, cut the inside of that brass off where it's sticking inside there. It's flush. And guess what? This thing is now sleeved with bushings. This will last, you know, this tractor's lifetime with me. It's not going to, anything's going to happen to it. But that right there, and now if I ever had to fix this again, if I did, drive the bushings out, pop a new set of bushings back in. The hole's already there. We're good. That right there is going to make a night and day difference on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this thing up and we're going to go ahead and put it in without repairing that and see the difference it'll make. And let's try it. So again, easy fix. It works. 14 millimeter high-speed drill bit, is the outside diameter of the bushing. Drill that hole through nice and straight. Get through there, make sure they line up. Inside diameter, in order to fit that pin, 7/16 drill bit. Again, once they're set in there with red Loctite and they're pressed in, run through, get that thing nice and true, as this one is right here, and she's straight. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and finish this thing up and put it on in. All right, so unfortunately, I thought I had record going on my stand, but I didn't. But all I did was, you didn't really miss much. Those bushings that were sticking out that you just saw, I went ahead and I cut those down a little bit. And the easiest way was to go ahead and just a little rotary burr, went ahead and went inside there. Real easy, just enough to cut it down and get it kind of close. And then I actually took the air grinder with a, it kind of broke, but anyway, with like a port and polish style sanding drum. And then I went inside there and just kind of followed the contour, because obviously the round drum will follow that contour real nice. And I went ahead and sanded that all out right there and got it down to size. Went ahead and took a little pencil file, ran it on the inside, and then real easy, kind of went around just, here, go this way, just around that inner edge, just to give this just a slight chamfer, but she's smooth and it's good. So I think now the only other thing I am going to end up doing is, for this particular shifter, now this is going to vary depending on you know, your shifting rod. If you have any play, should I say not play, if you have any wear marks through here, because what happens is through the years when these things start to wear out and they do a lot of side to side rocking like this, you can see that kind of motion right there. It starts to wear away there and there, and it did it on this side as well. You can kind of see right there. See where it wears it away a little bit? So on mine, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some weld inside here on this area. Then I'm going to go ahead and grind it down. So that way, this is really hard to do with one hand. So this way, as you see that side to side play you have here, well, I'm going to take it back into specs of this. So as you see how it's got some of its wobble. Actually doesn't have much. See, the wobble's very minimal versus when you bring it here. See the difference you got? See, big difference. So I'm going to go ahead and weld this up and this up. We're going to close this up, grind this back out straight, and make a nice channel for that rod to go into. The only other thing, if you really wanted to make this thing a little bit more probably factory tight, is this right here needs to be like a, probably like a 25-30 I think it was. What the hell was that size? Let me see real quick, hang on. It was, hang on, I'm looking. Where's my mark? Yeah, so there was a, yeah, it was 25-32. You can get away with a 49/64 piece of round stock if you want to go ahead and really fill this up and really take this out of here. Believe it or not, a 14mm socket size, which is 25/32. Let's see if I can push this out. All right, see how, again, see how it's got some wobbles and play in there? 14mm socket, which is, I can't use this, which is 25/32 goes inside, and look at the difference. I mean, that's a big difference. Look at that. When they go on both sides, it's virtually no play in it. So if I really wanted to go even further, I could probably go ahead and put some round stock on the lathe, cut it down to about 25/32, which I may do one day. I might go ahead and play with it and actually try it, and then drill my center hole, and I can probably really get this thing to be super tight like new. But I want to see what it's like leaving this the way it is, but going ahead and changing this up. And then we're going to see if we like it. And if we do, we're going to roll with it. If not, we're going to go ahead and lay down a piece of round stock and cut that size out. I'll tell you, a lot of times when people have these worn out shifters and you think it's just easy enough just to go ahead and buy yourself a, you know, a shift lever repair kit, it's not that easy. There's more to it than that. There's a lot of factors in here that really start to give you a lot of play. It's kind of like the steering systems. You know, when you got the worm gear, then you got your sector gear or sector shaft, then you got your main gear, and then you got your couplers, I mean, your tie rods. I mean, by the time you get down to everything, you can get a lot of play in your steering wheel by adding all the little odds and ends up. Your shifter's the same way. I mean, see, when you put it in both sides, she got some wobble. Not awful, but it's got wobble. I personally want to see how nice and snug I can make this. But this right here, that's going to be night and day difference, just that alone. And this housing right here is actually the one in the one video that was broke off. I took this off the 300. When I took this bolt out, they had this thing permatexed down, and they had this ear permatexed to the housing. I ground that all down, re-welded that, put all that back together, and she held. So this is actually the one that was broke. So this is a spare that I'm going to work with, and I'm just going to kind of stay one ahead as far as tightening these up. So I don't know, maybe it might be a service I might offer in the future. If somebody wants to have this done, they can send their shifter housing and the rod and, you know, all this stuff over to me, and I'll go ahead and machine everything out and get it all nice and snug for you. Don't message me right now because I don't know if I'm going to do it yet. But if I do, I'll make sure I'll let you guys know that I'm going to offer this and go ahead and do it for you. So anyway, all right, let's get you know what? We're going to make a second video. The next video is going to be welding this, putting it back together, putting it in the tractor, and giving it a whirl. So this is actually going to be it for this video. So I'm going to have to say, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Please watch the video in its entirety. It helps me so much. Anyway, so stay tuned, and we're going to start doing more of this because obviously we got the 450 gas, which we're going to put this one on. Then I got the 300, I got to do this too. And then I got the 450 diesel out there. I have to do this too. And I am going to do a video very soon on that diesel because I got to get that thing out in the yard and get it working. We're going to go ahead and give it a tune-up. We're going to change the fluids and the hydraulic screen. We're going to pull it out because it's got a fallen hydraulic on it. So I'm going to have to clean that out and fill it up. It's got a little odds and ends we're going to have to take care of. And we're going to get this thing out and get it working. So anyway, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you guys for watching. It's much appreciated. Until next time. Alright, my friends, we got a little bonus footage going on here. So I decided, just for shits and giggles, to go ahead and put the bell back on top and put the spring back on top and put everything back together. And I'll tell you one thing, this thing is tight. So let's walk on over here to the 450 real quick, and let me show you something here. Here's the shifter housing on here. This is with the new pin kit inside there, okay? This isn't original. This is with a pin kit. Now, yes, these zip ties have washers in there, and the only thing the washers are doing is holding that pin from coming out. Doesn't have anything to do with the play, doesn't have anything to do with anything inside here. But this is a worn out shifter with a pin kit. Look how much play and slop that thing has in it, okay? We're going to unbolt this, and I'm going to put this one on here with the pin kit and the bushings, the way I did it, without doing any welding to the shifter arm. And let's see the difference it makes. So let me get this set up. Let's do this. Alright, you guys should be able to see that. Let's get this thing off of here. Puppy off. I'll show you this in a second. I'll show the inside. Just get it out of the way. Oh, that's slop. Alright, keep in mind, this particular one here, I still have to fix the fork. Well, the bottom that engages the forks on this one. Well, let's go ahead and see the difference this bushing makes with what I did to the housing itself, without dropping the socket out of there. Snug this puppy down. can already feel the difference just by tapping it. Alright, my friends, let's see. Wow. What a difference that is. Oh my lord. Alright, let me teach you how to stand. Wow, that is a huge difference by doing those bushings. Because even that other shifter, I mean, I'm in neutral right now, so of course you're going to have the, you know, but the difference. I mean, put it in gear, let's see. I mean, except for the fact of where that fork is engaging the end of this shifter, where, you know, I could actually fatten that up a little bit. I mean, look at the difference. That's, I mean, again, for a tractor, that's about where you would expect it to be. Not as worn out as some of these are. That, wow. I'm actually, look, it's not hitting the dashboard anymore. That other one was so worn out, it could actually bump the dashboard. So, yeah. Yeah, I gotta say, that, I'm quite happy with that fix. That came out beautiful. Alright, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll do another video if I decide to do more to it. I don't know. I don't know if I have to do the welding inside, because honestly, it feels like it's holding up quite well. Now, keep in mind, I don't have those end caps put on here yet. So, if you do this, you gotta push the end caps on. Push it in the center with a drift pin. It'll flatten it out and tighten it up inside that hole. If not, that pin will walk out of there. So, this isn't finished. So, I don't want anybody commenting saying, hey, you forgot to put those caps on. I know, this ain't done yet. But I just wanted to show you. Wow, that's a huge difference. Alright, guys. Well, that's a win. So, alright, well, you guys got the information on those bushings that I used. You saw how I did it and what I did to do this, and it wasn't a bad job. So this is one of those jobs where, you know, the basic guy with the basic tools can handle this without having to take this anywhere and have this thing machined and put a bushing in, all that crap. It works. Now the next thing is we're going to do, I got me a set of rod bushings for the wrist pins from a C80, C282 engine, because I measured and it seems like those wrist pin bushings actually are a really good size for the shaft right here. So this right here, to play in that clutch pedal, I'm going to take all this apart. We're going to take this arm off of there, and we're going to go ahead and fit one of those wrist pin bushings from a C282 inside here, and we're going to take all that slop out of that clutch pedal too, because we got to do that to this one, and we really have to do it to that diesel. That diesel is really worn. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you can see when I do those, because that right there, that's going to make a night and day difference on those clutch pedals, because I think all of them are worn out. I think actually Gino at Farmall Fanatic, I'm sure you guys have heard of him, he went to an auction and looked at a 450, and I saw some people commenting, so I'm guessing he saw it at one point where the clutch pedal, same thing, had a lot of slop in it. It's not a bad fix. It's an easy, for the most part, an easy fix. You just gotta get the right parts, and you know where you heard it from, right here. Bushings, wrist pin bushings from a C282. Drill that puppy out, fits over that shaft, boom. You have yourself a tight pedal. Alright, well now this video is done. So, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, and again, thank you guys for watching, and until next time.